6 long months. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Moose Farms is finally back online and ready to go. A lot of stuff has happened. Dealt with some burnout. Probably built 10 different farms on 5 different maps and couldn't come up with anything that I was happy with. And then I discovered maps for FS, which led me to creating my own map to make life a lot easier. So if I go into my PDA here, this is the realistic background imaging, GPS imaging of the farm that I grew up on, the farm that my grandfather farmed for over 50 years. This was his homestead right here. I've recreated many of the fields around it to match what I remember growing up. I've used this program to get realistic imagery, to get true terrain data, and then what I did from there is I plugged that into a blank multi-fruit map. I pulled some of the files out from the maps for FS and put it into a blank multi-fruit template map and went from there. So a couple things we're using. We are using a few new mods here. We were using realistic animal as always, but we are now using realistic soil and fertilizer. So this is a replacement for precision farming and adds stuff such as pests and diseases. So you may have to treat your soybeans or corn with fungicide now. You can see here I am in a soybean field that's 36% pests. So I am going to have to get some insecticide out here and kill off these pests. And what I've done is created as many separate fields as I can so that they all have their own individual files. So this is field 4. If I was to go across over here to field 5, that is wheat, you'll see that it also has 37% pests and the yield is 87%, but I am not going to take the time to spray pesticide on that, or insecticide, pesticide, whatever you want to call it, on that at this time. So we are in July of 2005. We have just graduated from college and we've moved back home to take over this family farm operation. So this farm right here, this is actually where my Uncle Steve recently lived before he retired from his job as a school teacher and moved to Florida. That's also where my great-grandmother and great-grandfather's homestead was, the farm that my grandpa grew up on. So that is where our house is. Right here to the right is one of our pastures. This is a pasture true to one that my grandfather had, as well as the field you see up ahead in the distance. Up there to the left you see all my buy point, sell point, and dealership area that I had to create because you need those things to get on map. I'm gonna jump in here quick because it said I had some messages through realistic animal, so I gotta see what's going on in this pasture. So right now we have 60 heifers in this pasture. So we have some Black Angus, we have some Herefords, we have some Charolais, we have some Red Angus, and we have some Simmentals. I'm going to go down here. Oh, all these messages were just from when I bought the animals and moved them around. So how do I just need to delete those all. That's from back when I was getting everything set up and I bought the animals. So right now we have 35,253 liters of meadow on the field. Health is 100%. If I go into my animal menu, you'll see that a few of these are pregnant. Not all of them got pregnant. They're all due sometime in October. I think there might be a couple that are into November, but they're all due to have their babies around the same month. So October or November, we're going to have a bunch of calves that we're going to have to take care of. And at that point, we will move them back to the main farm. So let me jump back into my pickup here, if I can find it. And we will take you to the main farm. In total, we have 280 acres of farmland that we are using. I have it broken down into 4 equal groups because with one of the things you kind of see on there, about 2/3 of the way down the list on that soil monitor over there, it says OM. That's organic matter. You get organic matter from crop rotations and leaving fields fallow. So I'm doing 4. I did 4 groups so I can do a rotation to where they are they're fallow, or there's 1 year where there's nothing on them, and then they go to wheat, and then they go to soybeans, and then they go to corn, and that's going to be our rotation. So we have the field here to the right, or to the left. We don't own the field to the right. That belongs to our neighbor Bruce. And then we get up here. Once we cross the half-mile point right here, we own everything to the right. That's our grandfather's farm, and everything to the left here belongs to our neighbor Jeff. So there's another one of our cornfields there. A little bit of crop damage at the end because I realized too late that I had to spray for pests in that field, and it was past the point to where you don't get crop destruction. I think it's like after the second growth stage, you no longer get crop destruction for your row crops when you're using vehicles with row crop tires. So got wheat field here to the right. We got some more corn and beans up ahead. You got a cattle pasture here, and then we're starting off with 16 row equipment as far as our weeder and our stalk roller and our planter. We're gonna have a combine with 8 row headers. And we got the sprayer hooked up ready to go spray the beans. We're gonna have to get the combine out and get it hooked up and get it going to harvest the wheat. We got 3 grain bins here. We're gonna have to get the auger out and get it set up as well. Forage harvester, mower, nurse trailer, drill, disc, baler, rake. That's all over here. We got some of my grandfather's older equipment over here, including a plow for the end of our fields, an old flail mower, an old 8-row cultivator. We got our bale processor over here. Ignore the pigs, they're a little angry right now. Bale processor here for when we have to put straw in with our cows to make manure. We got an old grain drill here, an old sprayer. We got our blade that we're going to use for leveling our silage, a bale fork, stack of hay bales, and a couple of bunkers over here. This one's going to be, we're using the CCM mod, so this is going to be for our corn cob mix, our ground up corn. The only mob that I can find to grind my hay bales up is this lizard beaverator, so it is here because that's what we have to use, and then we'll make a hay pile right there, and then our silage in here, along with our forage wagon, horse trailer, and a couple more fields. So we are going to run over here quick, and we are going to get, we're gonna imagine here that we're gonna get Grandpa set up in the 7120 and start spraying the beans. So you notice in the intro I used some real life photos of some aerial shots. The aerial shots, one was from 2004, one was from 2018, along with actual pictures I had taken of the 8930, the 7120, and the 2290, which is among a list of tractors that my grandpa used through the years. So those are the tractors that I'm starting with in this game: a 7120, a 2290, and an 8930. I just did that to kind of show the realism and compare what I built in the game to the way the farm looked when I was growing up. So hopefully we'll be on this series for a while, because we are truly taking over the family farm. I guess that's as true as you can get to a taking over the family farm or buying Grandpa's farm roleplay. I'm going to get up here and get him set up here on the edge of the field. But before I get him started spraying, I'm going to run over here and jump this fence. This is where our bowls are, so we're going to jump this fence the things, when I first started up, it said there were some messages in the bull pasture too, so I'm going to run over here and see what those are. Hopefully it's not that they're out of food. No, they got 100. They have 155,000 liters of meadow, probably because there's only 5 of them over here. So let me see what the messages were on this pasture. Oh yeah, moved 5. So when I was setting up, I had to change my fence line, so I put the 5 bulls into a trailer and then took them back out. But to show you what we got 1 Black Angus bull, 1 Hereford bull, 1 Charolais, 1 Red Angus, 1 Simmental. We'll add to that with our litter of calves that we're about to make. To give us, my goal is to have 100 heifers and 10 bulls, and then the rest of them will go into the cattle pen there on the main farmyard and get fattened up for sale. So I'm going to get Grandpa started here on spraying insecticide here on the beans, and then probably go get my brother set up in the 8930, rolling the corn stalks. Oh look, and see, I am getting crop destruction because I'm in stage 2. Oh well. Probably get another hired worker set up running the stalk roller, because I gotta knock down the corn stalks so that I can plant the next crop of wheat where it's gonna go, and then we'll come back and we'll start taking some wheat out of the ground. So that's what we got going on. Hopefully we got a good decent series here for you, a nice long, almost over 10-minute intro for you, but we'll get you we'll finish off this video with a little action of the wheat harvest after I get all these hired workers set up, taking care of the other things that need to be done. Alright, we're halfway through July here. We've got 2 out of the 3 wheat fields done. We're working on the 3rd. You'll see that the money at the top has gone up, and that's because we are selling the wheat as it comes out. So I was trying to put it in one of the green bins over there on the farm, and I don't know if it's because this map has 2 different types of wheat. It's got summer wheat and winter wheat, and the grain bin that I'm using doesn't recognize the 2 separate field types. I'm not sure if that's the issue, but for whatever reason I couldn't get the grain bin to take the wheat, so we've been selling it directly. So we're up to almost $240,000, but that's good because we are going to have to buy a new corn header. I started off the very first field with a 20-foot grain platform and did not like how slow that was, so I realized that the auger on this combine is long enough for a 30-foot grain platform, which would be equivalent of a 12-row header. So we went and upgraded to the 30-foot grain platform, sold the 20-foot to do that. And so when this is done, I'm going to sell our 8-foot or our 8-row corn head and get a 12-row corn head. That also means I'm going to have to sell off some of the 16-row equipment. Drop down to 12-row. It'll take a little bit longer to plant everything, but then it won't take me twice as long to harvest, because I was going to plant with 16-row and harvest with 8-row, and that was just gonna, I realized once I started harvesting how long that was going to take. So let's go in here quick and let's just see. Go ahead and sell the stuff, and then we can just go get it later. Find, there's our disc. Here's our swather. I'm also going to probably buy a larger grain drill while I'm at it. So there's our 8-row header. Go ahead and sell that. There's our 16-row planter. We'll go ahead and sell that. 16-row weeder. Go ahead and sell that. And I think we'll keep the stock chopper for now. I don't know how much. Actually, you know what? I've changed how I'm going to run things, so I don't need that either. So now we're up to $368,000. So we're going to go ahead and purchase a few. We're going to go back and rebuy a planter and a cultivator while we're taking out the wheat here. So if I, well, let me wait. I'm going to go ahead and wait until I've turned around here so I don't end up driving into my corn and taking out a bunch of corn here with my combine while I'm trying to do all of this. Got some clouds coming. I think the rain is going to stay away for a while. I installed Dusty Lands because that came out today or yesterday since the last time I recorded the first half of the video, but I have got to go in the settings and remember how to use that one. So maybe a little bit more dusty than normal, but doesn't look too bad. Go ahead and drop that right there. Get the GPS set back in there. Alright, so we need a new grain drill. Do I want to do, yeah, we'll do liquid fertilizer with it. And we'll do standard capacity. So there's a grain drill. Just because the one I had, you know what, while I'm at it, I might as well just go sell the one that we had. Because the one that we had is going to be just as slow as everything else. So let me go find this Case IH grain drill that we have and go ahead and sell it too, since we don't need it. We don't need this little 4-meter drill. Okay, so now let's go back in here. So I bought the grain drill. I need to go get a this Landau is supposed to be a 12 row, but I think it's set at either 36 or 40 inch rows, so that's not going to work. Need a Kinsey planter. We're going to add liquid fertilizer. Oh, that's in row cleaners. So there's a 12 row planter for us. Going to need a cultivator. We'll do 12 rows at 36 inches there. Let's put some guide coulters on there. Let's do some rolling shields and some pressure springs. There's our 12 row cultivator. And then we need 2212 header. There we go. Look at that timing. Just as we made it to the end of the field. So now we're back down. We actually broke even there. We're right back down to $237,000. So I think I spent as much money as I did selling the stuff off. So that worked out pretty well. So we're going to finish off this wheat field here. I'm at 40% full, so I'm not, obviously, clearly don't think I'm going to get the full field in one combine. But the truck is empty. It's waiting up there in the top corner up by the farmyard for us. So we're going to finish getting this field harvested, and then we'll finish off this video. We'll come back and finish off this video with some baling some straw bales. The farm keeps trucking along here. We got all the wheat out, and now we are picking up straw. We already have 3 bales, which is good. Hopefully I can get at least 20, because then I can put some in the cattle pen and some over in the pig pen, so that I can earn some manure off of those. Unfortunately, the pig pen over there that takes straw to make manure, I'm about to move all those piglets out next month in the next episode, so that'll be I'll be back down to the 5 sows, and I don't know how much manure 5 sows will actually make, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, just moving on along here. Went and got all the equipment picked up, sold the last load of wheat, and we are at a little over $242,000 up there, so the farm is looking pretty good. There's a little snapshot of the farm in the background. You can see I dropped off the grain platform and our chisel plow there next to the shed. The row crop cultivator and the combine are parked behind the machine shed there, and then I'll put the planter and the drill inside. So got all the equipment moved, got all the wheat out. We have Dad over on the far side. Let's see if I can find him over here. I thought I did that before I started recording again, but I always forget. Dad is over here on field 3, disking up the fallow ground there so that we can put some wheat down in September. So that's what we got going on. Not a whole lot happening here in this first episode of the new season, but we'll finish it off here with a little bit of footage of running some bales, and then we'll see you next time. Hopefully I can get back to recording on a somewhat regular basis. Right now, looking at my work schedule and everything, I'll probably only have a few hours a week to play, so hopefully I can at least get you guys one video a month. I'd like to do a little bit more than that, but that's where we're at right now. So hopefully we can get back to recording somewhat regularly and get you guys at least one video per month here, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know how many of you are still sticking around, since it's been over 6 months since I've dropped anything, but hopefully I can give you guys some interesting content. I'll try to drop links in the description to this, to the maps for 4S and some of the other mods that I'm using, some of the other tools that I described here at the beginning. So, but yeah, we're working the family farm here in central Nebraska, and that's where we're going to be for a while. So we are going to go ahead and finish off these bales, and we will come back and meet you next episode when we move on to August and have some more chores around the farm to take care of. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a comment if you want. Hit that notification bell so you'll get notified another month from now when I drop another video. But as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll catch you next time on Moose Farms.